And so I was like, start searching online, and I found this guy named John Bros.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so now
John's
I'm getting
the man.
it. Yeah, oh, that's my dude now. So just like any of these other guys, I read his article, and I just reached out to him. Said, hey, man, I'm going to be in Vegas. I'd love to learn from you. And, you know, but
we'll link to that article, too. It's really good.
Yeah, the T-Nation article is the one that says, and this was my favorite thing. He goes, if somebody captured your family and said they were going to kill them unless you squatted 500 pounds, would you squat once a week or would you squat every day?
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
And I was like, this is my kind of guy. I'm in.
March in Ohio can only mean two things: bitter cold and the return of a true strength tradition. The Barbell Shrugged team has ventured to frosty Columbus, home to a multi-sport fitness event as big and bold as its legendary namesake. This is the Arnold Sports Festival, a massive 4-day event that plays host to more than 50 competitions, 18,000 athletes, nearly 200,000 avid fitness fans, and of course, some of the biggest names in strength. We've come to town to give you a taste of the madness. Weightlifting, bodybuilding, strongman, CrossFit, endurance, and physique. Whatever your industry, passion, or fetish, you can find a 100-gram dose of it right here. There's no greater circus showcase of strength and fitness in the entire world. The lights are bright, the stage is set, and we are all oiled up and ready. It's time for Barbell Shrugged, baby. Welcome to the Arnold.
Welcome to Barbell Shrugged. I'm Mike Bledsoe, staying here with Doug Larson, Chris Moore, CTP behind the camera. We have traveled up to Columbus, Ohio to the Arnold Sports Festival, as we do almost every single year, because it is cool as shit up here. And
also cold as shit.
Yeah, it's way too cold. All sorts of things going on, from gymnastics to bodybuilding to weightlifting to fencing, and then
there's like going to the Olympics.
I saw some Jedi Knights earlier.
There's a guy entering the fencing competition in a Jedi outfit.
Yeah,
like lightsabers cheating. Yeah.
We're here with Cory Gregory. He's the co-founder of Muscle Pharm, and they are you're sponsoring some of the event, and you've got big booths and
so we basically are one of the, they call it a diamond sponsor. So
diamond sponsor.
One of the
that
top three sponsors just means we're doing it big right now.
But you're balling. That's
yeah,
what it means.
Yes, sir. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. So I didn't know this right off the bat. I started following Cory on Twitter maybe 6 months ago. I think someone retweeted something you had said. And I don't normally and I always perceive I think Muscle Pharm, like bodybuilding and that type of stuff. And then AJ was also telling me where you came from.
Yeah, man.
I was like, man, this is a legit crazy story.
It's not your conventional path.
So, so if you're thinking Muscle Pharm, bodybuilder, why are these guys talking to this guy? But he's not a bodybuilder. You're more of a power lifter, really.
I like to just
strength athlete.
I'm a real fucking gym guy.
Yeah,
basically, which people don't. They see just like we kind of look like the Nike of the space by design, but one of the nuts and bolts of the whole thing is that I own one of the top 10 most hardcore gyms in the country. The old school gym was ranked, and I've been a real lifter, been around big time people, and I'm always searching out for new info, and I can't get enough of it.
Yeah, and you said you almost totally elite a
I
couple
went
times.
1755 at 208. So if I would have dropped weight that day, I squatted 700, bench I think it was 480, and pulled 575.
Those are excellent numbers.
Yeah, and then at one.
And if you take your shirt off, the ladies swoon.
Yeah,
and some dudes too.
We're kind of thinking about swooning.
Hey, it's
early in the interview.
My whole goal was to try to really lead by example when I was in this position. So I've been training my whole life for it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And so if you just go to your Twitter account and you look at your bio, is that you went from coal miner to gym owner?
Yes, sir.
Into the supplement industry.
Yep.
Tell us, how did that start?
It really starts as this. My mom thought what is this kid going to do? All he likes to do is lift weights.
My parents were thinking the same thing, dude.
Yeah, we all share that same exact
My parents are like, man, my kid's such an idiot.
Yeah,
he thinks he's going to make money lifting weights.
I'm getting I'm graduating with a 2.1 grade point average. I just couldn't focus on anything. I'm writing workouts and study hall. I mean, that's all I cared to do. And I was just doing it in my basement, really self-taught. But what it come down to is that my mom was a single parent. Our trailer costs $100 a month rent.
Wow.
And so growing up like that, it just gave me like a fire to do something great.
Yeah.
And so you combine that with reading about Arnold and reading about just all those things of like transferring the discipline into life and business. And over time, man, I just kept telling myself, I'm going to do something great. I'm meant to do big things. And I was just lying to myself probably, but it worked, So
you got to fake it till you make it.
Yeah, 1,000%. But I believed it, and I just, I was searching for it. And so first year, I kind of got through high school, always trained, did powerlifting. My first powerlifting meet was when I was 17 years old, so I've always had a love for that. I always told Louis Simmons I was a fitness model. I was a power lifter stuck in a fitness model body.
How does he react to that?
So hard.
Yeah. He probably had some kind of wise-ass joke to make after you said that.
He's like, so skinny Cory, you want to be elite power lifter? I said, yes, I do. And he just said, okay. I was, I'm going to be the first fitness model to go elite. He just, he just kind of roll his eyes. But, but the one thing is, especially with Lou, when I came to him, I didn't want to come on Wednesday. I want to come on Friday.
Yeah, for the big squat day.
Exactly. And he said, okay, all right then. And then you can squat with Amy.
Well, she was like a 600-pound squatter.
Exactly, and so was I. So, so
anyway. Okay, not afraid to start at the bottom. I'm here. I'm going to work my way up.
I'll just go in there and get hazed. It is what it is.
Yeah.
So, but so kind of back to the story, coming from Steubenville, Ohio area, I really didn't know how to kind of bridge the gap between what I wanted to do with my life. I had no clue. I kind of found out about personal training.
You knew you wanted to be in fitness.
Yeah, but
you didn't know. You probably didn't even know like the possibilities within the fitness industry.
Didn't exist where I'm from. No one made money lifting weights. You know what I mean? So there was a lot of strong guys, blue collar dudes. So my mom
had jobs.
Yeah, they had jobs and still lifted iron after 15-hour days.
Yeah.
So my mom got remarried to my stepdad Randy, and he said, look. He'd been in the coal mines 20 years. I'm a fourth generation. I mean, I got a mining helmet tattooed on my forearm. So it's one of those things like my great-grandfather, my grandfather. It's like what we know. Wow. And so I'm like, he's like, dude, I'll get you the job if you want to start saving some money to get the hell out of here. And that was
that's a kind gesture, man. That's awesome.
Yeah. So it's one of those things where I was working stacking lumber 10 hours a day for like $8 an hour, which sucked. Listen, I'm not a classic rock fan, so I'm a rap guy, so I stuck out like a sore thumb at this place. It was so bad. So I like Zeppelin, but other than that, I'm like, so anyway.
What do you mean you don't like John Fogerty?
Yeah, oh, dude, it's so rough for me. It just is what it is. So he says, but I'll get you a job in the mine. It's 14 hours base, 21-hour overtime, but they'll never say no to overtime. So literally, he would work 100 hours a week. I mean, these guys work, and so I would get
and not like at a desk filling out like purchase request forms and shit.
No.
Like black lung,
like shoveling in 42 inches of top. So it's like working under this table right here. So I'd be shoveling a belt line 15.
Like bent over shoveling in a dark space with a fucking hat helmet on.
Correct for 15 hours. They drop you off and say, I'll see you in 10 hours, and you got a guy on one side of the belt, and you're on the other side.
Lunch pail and all
that's
that
it,
stuff.
man.
So you're a strong guy. How much do you think the foundation of your business success, but also your physical success now being able to squat was sowed in the labor and the work discipline?
I think in
this time.
In deadlift and any of that, like my forearm strength, I say that was one of the strongest, maybe not from a weight number standpoint, but I was man strong and weight strong at the same point, because I would go and sling block and do. I mean, we'd have like a skid of block dropped off, and they'd say, hey, we need you to build a wall of cement block, and they're like, we want you to carry it over here. Like bent over, double at a time. So I mean, your lower back just got so strong. Yeah. And then I'd go right to the weight room right after.
That's what a lot of people miss. They see all this stuff. They want to get in the weightlifting and the strength sports, but don't realize the most successful people, even in CrossFit, are the people who have spent their whole lives just doing a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
like just working. You can't replace the base.
It was a 2-hour workout with like a heavy set of farmer's carries at the end of it for conditioning, where you're going to be like, oh no, those farmer carries are going to get me after you've done
that for 8 hours.
14-hour days.
Yeah, exactly. So here's the deal. He said, you put in 90 to 100 hours a week, you can make $1,500 a week after taxes. Yeah. So I'm 19 years old, and I'm just lifting and working. That's it, straight up. When I quit the mine 6 months later, I had like 5 paychecks on my desk. I hadn't even went to the bank because I literally was just all of me.
You didn't have time to go to the bank.
I was just working, getting that money, and he did say like multiple times he saw me getting kind of comfortable there because he saw it was in my blood. He's like, "You're not staying here." I'm like, "I know."
Was it just a natural hunger? Like every day, what did you go through to remind yourself there's a bigger vision? Because there's plenty of days you're like, this is really hard.
Oh,
I could easily cash these checks and fuck off.
Yeah,
or just go to school.
I finally
or
did
something.
that eventually. Finally, they kind of I was a college help is why they classified me. They leaned on me a lot because I was strong. So they put me with some dipshit that couldn't do nothing, and you'll get you hurt that way. I mean, that's the thing. So finally, one day I came up and said, "Man, I'm out. Like, I'm going to go cash them checks, and I'll starve as a personal trainer until I do this shit no more. I'm done."
You burned the boat.
Yeah, and he said, "Look, it's time for you to go anyway." And so then I came up here, and that's when I went to Columbus State I was in community college about 6 months for an exercise specialist certificate. There's no way I was going to do a 4-year degree. I wanted to get my business started.
Yeah.
And then within 6 months, I kind of started training personal training clients. So that's kind of segued into starting to own my own facilities.
So again, a clear vision showing through. Like you're a kid, and you see clearly that I could do that, but that's not the most efficient way to get to my ultimate vision. I think. I think the thing popping out now is vision is so important every day to remind yourself what you're actually going for, and not to be distracted with.
Yeah, mine was to own a gym, plain and simple. Like, own a gym and be on the cover of magazines. I knew that early on, and when I used to say that back home, people would be like, it's just hard for them to grasp it. I mean, my first day in the coal mine, there's this huge dude, like 6'5", 300 pounds, like 60 years old, been in the game forever. And I got earrings at this time. I forgot to take them out, so I get on the cage.
Not a good idea.
Dude, bad, right? This is a hilarious story. So I get on the cage, and you're going 600 feet on the elevator down. And he goes, "Boy, what's in your ears?" And I'm like, "Oh, shit." And I'm like, and he goes, "What do you want to do with your life, college boy?" And I'm like, "I want to be a personal trainer." He goes, "Oh, like Richard Simmons?"
Almost, not
I'm
quite.
like, my vision's a little different than that, but that's the personal trainer those guys knew. So it's just when you work with men when you're a kid that are hardcore, it just changes some things about you.
And the idea of telling them to go to a gym after work, to work on fitness is like the most abstract. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, dude, it was a life experience I could never change. And those guys and miners in general always got love for me. Yeah. So that's cool.
And keeping that work ethic, that drive, there's nothing that's going to stand in your way now. Now you see what can actually be done.
No way. I mean, it was a great lesson for me, and I take the same work ethic approach to the gym, whatever my goal is there. I'm a huge vision person. Like, I literally get up every morning. I have the 15 goals that I've set out for the year. And then I have a mission statement that I write down every day, and that puts it right in front of me. And I don't always get those goals, but I mean, I'm pretty close to them every year. And I don't have 5 and 10 year goals because our business, the things I've done, have progressed so just like you guys. You're growing so fast; it's kind of hard to do that.
Yeah.
But it's like
90 days maybe.
Yeah, what I've got in front of me for the year, man, I'm going all out on. And then if I don't have something planned around those each day, I feel like I'm slacking.
And there's also checks and balances to see what of the things I'm doing is working and not working.
Absolutely.
Without that kind of daily calibration, I guess you would get too far in any one direction.
Yeah, no, I got to. I mean, I get up with the mission to be the most impactful person in my industry and change the Gregorys for generations. That's my mission.
Yeah. That's awesome, man.
I want my kids to say, "Grandpa was a G."
I think they might.
That's
say
the key,
that.
man. That's the key.
Well, then one day, I think the greatest thing about having a family is one day you know they'll go, "Wow, fuck, that must have been such an incredible thing to try to pull off," and he did it. It'll inspire them, inspire your family forever, man.
That's how you change generations.
Yeah,
that's
awesome.
Key.
So how do you make the leap from coal miner to running a large company? Like, work ethic is one thing, and you got to have it, but it's not the only thing that you need to be successful in running your own company. Like, how'd you make that leap? Like, where'd that education, that mindset come from?
Sure. So to kind of bridge the gap. So I was at Columbus State, and I did an intern with a guy that was selling fitness pretty well in the city here in Columbus, which is where I live. And he had about 35 clients, and he was starting to get some runoff. And so I came in, and he had played for the University of Akron. He was Jason Taylor's roommate at Akron. The guy played for the Dolphins.
Oh, yeah.
So he was a good athlete. He was a DB. We got it along pretty well. And he said, "Man, I know you're just getting started. I'll start throwing you some clients." Well, he kept getting busier and busier. Before you know it, I'm at maybe about 10 clients. Then I learned a lot of good and bad things off Reggie. He's a great guy, but he kind of jumped around a lot. So as he jumped around, his clients started to come to me.
Yeah.
And so within a year's time, I had about 20 people.
Wow.
And then one of the biggest things that happened in my business career is they changed management in the company I was working at. I was just paying rent, and I was training, like a barber shop.
Yep.
Dude comes to me and says, "Hey, I'm the new manager. We're going to start taking 30% of your money." He thought I would I'm 20 years old, so he's probably thinking this kid ain't going to do nothing. I said, Oh, okay, dude, yeah. I'm thinking in my head, yeah, right, bro. So I literally that day started driving around looking for spaces. I had no clue what I was doing or getting into, but I knew I had nothing to lose. I had no kids. I had the money I made from the mine. So I found a place down the street
and you were generating all your own clients in that gym.
Absolutely.
It wasn't like
no,
they were feeding you.
No. I mean, it was I was charging $20 an hour. I mean, I was living, this is early. So I mean, I was,
Just again, a reminder again.
That's nothing.
You got to just do the work up front.
Yeah,
you can't be a beginner personal trainer and say, "Okay, what's fair? What should I make now that I'm doing this? $100 an hour?
$20 an hour.
You're never gonna get it done.
To charge someone that for personal training is
it's absurd, right?
That is absurd.
But I had 20 people. That's how I was able to eat. At least because I had a little money because I'd already put all that work in the coal mine. And so basically, I found a place that was 900 square foot, $600 a month. It was a mile from that gym. It was a ladder closet for the rehab of the building. Basically, it was a fucking mess when I got it. And the dude was like, "Look, dude, I didn't even think I could even rent this out." And so I was like getting his shit spot. And
this reminds me of my first place.
I mean, it was awesome though.
The gym that we started, like, it's one of those things that no way that guy was renting that out to anyone other than someone using it for storage.
Yeah, exactly. But starting matters more than what you're starting with, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I literally started with a credit card that was on 20% interest. It had $4,000 limit, which was awful. And my buddy gave me a G, and I wrote it on a napkin how I'd pay it back to him from campus, and that's how I started. Get
a notary to sign the napkin.
Yeah, exactly, right? He goes, I come to my buddy, we call him Juice. I'm like, Juice, I know you got a little bit of coin. Like, I need like a G, bro. He goes, well, what's your business plan? As I write it on this napkin.
I plan on making money, son.
I'm like, how about I'll give you this, and it says like January 100. February. I was like, you just cross that off as I pay you $100 a month over the next year. You know what I mean? And he just kind of chuckled and was like, all right, G, do your thing. And so all my clients came with me. But one of the coolest things about that was I was getting ready to go on vacation. I never told anybody I was setting this all up. And the manager dude was a douchebag. He's like, hey, when you come back from vacation. I was like, oh, hold on. When I come back from vacation, I'm taking all my clients down the street, starting my own business. So I forgot to tell you that. I'll see you. Like, peace. Right? And he was like, look at me like, this dude's I'm not even 21 years old yet. So, and this is what was so cool that looking back, he's like, this person couldn't do it. Why do you think? Like, total hater.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, man, I'm not any of those people, bro. And I am not staying up in this noise. So I'm out. And you know what? My clients were so supportive, and it just started rolling. Now, it took me 2 or 3 years I was in that little place. So I was grinding. Before you know it, I had 35 clients. They were solid. They were 3 days a week. I was charging 35. Then I started having more trainers work for me. So at one point, then I kind of escalated to another size facility where I had 7 trainers going, and that kind of got going. And the whole time I'm competing in natural bodybuilding. I've done 14 shows, so I'm competing. I'm out here, but I'm not really mixed up in the NPC. I'm not mixed up in the world gym community. I'm just doing my own thing.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of the progress as I start getting more into supplements and diet and that type of stuff. So that kind of bridged the gap a little bit.
Mm-hmm. And you were into bodybuilding. What got you into? Were you like pursuing strength first or bodybuilding, or did you even differentiate the two?
Yeah, so I thought I was doing powerlifting until I met anybody that ever associated with Westside. Right?
You're like, oh, I'm a powerlifter. It was like, and it's like, well,
but not really.
Right.
So I really was competing in bodybuilding, maybe 2 shows a year, really just to get my clients motivated, and I would jump in some some meets in between, but I had no clue when I met Louie and them guys really how to lift. And that's so funny is I was already making pretty good money as a trainer, and I was still freaking clueless.
Yeah.
And I started reading about Lou and started searching him out, and then Dr. Serrano was his doctor, and I met some of the guys, some of the older Westside dudes, and then what really changed it, when I bought out and started the new old school gym, which we were at this morning, Tim Harold lives behind my gym.
Tim's he was a monster.
Super heavyweight at Westside, pulled 855. He walks in my gym. He's like 6'7", 410.
Jeez. And he's like not a human being.
Yeah, he's so strong, dude.
He's so big and strong.
So I just come off, I'm in the new gym, and I just come off of a shoot. I'm like $175. I'm weak as hell. And I go, Tim walks in, and he's a monster. I'm like, dude, I want to learn Westside. He's like, looks at me like, okay, let's do good mornings today. And I'm like, he does 700-pound good morning in the first workout.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, he's a seriously strong man.
Oh, yeah, he was, huge total Westside. Was there forever. Louis recruited him out of high school.
This must be like anyone who comes out of Westside, if they want to crush somebody, they just they go, oh yeah, we're gonna max out with good mornings first,
dude.
Because that's what Mark Bell did to us.
Yeah, I'm sure.
He was like, oh, we're gonna start off with good mornings. I'm like, I know what you're
Triple
trying to do.
Yeah, triple, yeah.
It's like, hey, I know how to lift here, bro.
So literally, my good morning was 185.
Yeah.
I mean, it was awful. I didn't even know how to do it, but he started me off that, and so he says, look, I'll come in, we'll go through this, I'll teach you West Side, but we're not even touching that joint till you can't make me look like an idiot for even taking you there. So of course, right?
It's like Klokov's line. You got to be in shape before you're allowed to do the actual lifting.
Yeah,
and weightlifting, power the same way. You got to.
Yeah.
Louis always told me to get in shape to lift first.
Yeah, no, it's cool. So Tim really started that, and then I really started pursuing strength. I said, you know what? I love it anyway. But the thing is, for marketing wise, for me to be in shape makes more sense for my business. So I constantly fight it.
So you were like fighting between bodybuilding and
you want to be a big fat guy, don't you?
Yes.
You want to be fat, don't you?
Yeah.
We all want to be fat.
He's like, I so want to go with AJ to McDonald's and eat a real breakfast.
Well, I blew up to 240. So in 2008,
how'd you do that?
I just ate.
What do you weigh now?
I weigh 195. So
damn,
so
that's
listen,
a big jump.
So yeah, when I first met AJ, I was just eating and lifting, and I was all wired into Tim, and then he started taking me there, and I was like, man, I'm starting to look like these dudes. This is not me. I mean, it wasn't. Right? Yeah.
You caught the virus.
And then Amy was still calling me the lean guy. I'm like, I think I'm a little skewed on what's going on here.
When you weigh 240 and they're laughing at you for being the lean guy, you're in a different environment.
My body is not made. I'm not made to weigh 240.
No.
Dude, I had like cellulite on my stomach.
Oh, no.
And I mean, I was looking bad. It was so. About 2010.
Everybody's like, good job.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is, I got pretty strong, but I'm stronger now than I was then anyway.
Yeah.
But so it was kind of funny how that kind of happened. And then when Muscle Pharm started kind of catching up a little bit, I started doing the social media. Then it was time to get shredded again, and I started kind of going on a run of that. So I go back and forth.
You got those pictures of you being fat.
Yeah.
Go, here's what I did to look like this. You rip your shirt off.
I weighed in for a meet at 239 one morning, and I missed pulling 600 that day or whatever, and I was like, first of all, I can't even get to the bar. I'm tying my shoes, and I'm out of breath. I'm like, shit's got to change.
Yeah.
Yeah, my wife's like, I don't know if I think I signed up for the model guy. I don't know what I signed up for.
That's right. So usually it's the guy that worries about the woman getting
She's like, can I check your list of goals? Does the goal now include to be a fat guy? Because I'm out.
Yeah,
if your morning goals include fat guy.
It's pretty classic.
Anytime I've got like aggressive weight gain going on, I'm like all bloated. I'm like, I'll be just eat as much as I possibly can before bed.
Yeah.
And then my wife's like, she's coming on to me. She's like,
yeah.
hey, baby. I'm like, get off me.
Yeah.
She's like, I never have any sex when he's gaining weight.
We always say it. People go, I'm having trouble gaining weight. You have no idea how hard it is to gain weight and what you need to be doing to make it happen.
Oh, yeah.
It's so hard.
If you're training hard and trying to get bigger, that's not easy.
No, it's
How did you do? How did you go from 175 to 240?
Yeah, basically because
how long did that take you?
It was over about a year and a half's time. I literally basically didn't pay any attention to nutrition at all. I just ate and lifted and didn't care. Yeah. Like if I wanted to eat pizza 3 days in a row, I did. I was on like the dirty balls on accident. On accident, dude. And I never
Is it one of those things where you had always watched your nutrition and you were like, one day you're just like, fuck it, I'm going to just do what these other guys are doing to
I was pretty stressed out with the business at that point too. I just built the old school gym that's here now, and also I was just starting Muscle Pharm. I wasn't Cory the fitness guy. I was the nobody basically. So I'm like, I'm just gonna lift and learn from Louis and not be concerned about it. And it was less stress to not worry about prepping 9 meals a day or whatever the hell I was doing. And so I just was having fun with it. And I'd never experienced strength like that before. I mean, I ended up good morning, 335 for a triple, pulling 575 in a meet. I was, I squatted, 700 a couple different times. So I was like, I'm in, man. It was good, but the funny thing is, over time, I just realized that, one, that doesn't make sense for me to be that heavy. I feel much better, and I'm just as strong at a lighter weight now, so it doesn't matter.
So you've done the bodybuilding type training.
Yep.
You've gone to powerlifting. You've been a big fat powerlifter.
Yep.
And now you've figured out a way to mix the two.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we'll talk about how to be
a sexy powerlifter.
Yeah.
All right, welcome back to Technique Wad. I'm Doug Larson with the Barbell Shrugged podcast. This is video number 7 on the squat series. I'm going to give you 3 fun variations to help you get stronger on your squats. All right, today I'm going to give you a beginner, intermediate, and advanced variation that you can use on your squats. Level 1 is going to be a tempo squat. Level 2 for the intermediates is going to be a pause squat, and then level 3 for the advanced athletes is going to be a 1 1/4 squat. So that doesn't mean that only beginners should do the tempo squats, only intermediate athletes should do the pause squat, and only advanced people are allowed to do the 1 1/4 squat, but that's how you can kind of think of them. The tempo squats look like this. I'm gonna face out just for this video. So tempo squat basically means that on the way down, say I'm front squatting, on the way down maybe I have a count of 4, and so I'd be here 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I could come up as fast as I want. A pause squat would be similar, except I would go down under control, but however fast I needed to, and then at the bottom I would hold it for maybe a count of 4, maybe a count of 7, whatever you decide to do, and then come up from there. And then the 1 1/4 squat, I'm gonna go down, I'm gonna come halfway up, and then I'm gonna come all the way up. So I'm doing a full depth, and then I'm gonna come up just a little bit, and then I'm gonna train that bounce again on the way up, okay? The tempo squat I like for new people. The reason I like it is because on the way down, new people tend to get out of position, and they, their knees will be wobbling in and out, and they'll drop their elbows and whatnot. And so it lets them slow down, and it lets them think, butt back a tiny bit, ribs down, elbows high, knees out, heels on the deck. It lets them think on the way down, and then on the way up, they're supposed to come up the exact same way that they went down. So it gives them time to think, where they're not going so fast that they're just kind of falling all over the place and their knees are in and out, they look terrible. So I like that for new people for that reason. For the intermediate athletes, I really like the pause squat. As I said, it lets them go down however fast they want to, but then I like how you pause in the bottom position, and you have to have that raw strength, especially if this is heavy. If you're doing like a 1 rep max pause squat, I'm waiting, I'm resting, I'm comfortable in that bottom position. Maybe I'm sinking lower and lower and lower, and then I have to use that raw strength to kind of blast out of the hole and recover. That way, if I catch a heavy clean as an example, and then I land in the bottom in a funny position, or maybe I'm even a little bit out of position and I can't ride the bounce, I'm used to having to kind of grind out of the hole, out of the very bottom of the squat, because I've been doing it in training on my heavy pause squats, which might be heavier than my heaviest clean. So I'm used to grinding out of the hole with heavy weight. That way I get in competition. Maybe I'm trying to hit that next PR. I land a little bit out of position. No big deal. I'm strong in that position, and I can grind out of the hole because I've been doing my pause squats. Okay. Then finally, again, the advanced method that I was talking about today is a 1 1/4 squat. Again, put your feet wherever you would catch a clean, elbows high, and go down. I can kind of get used to using the bounce. Okay, and you obviously wouldn't do that fast with heavy weight. Go down under control. Maybe you go here. You do kind of a light bounce and then maybe a fast bounce, and get used to. And just get used to having that weight on your shoulders and landing in the hole in a comfortable position where you can bounce and not have the weight slide forward, not drop your elbows, not have your toes come off the ground, not let your knees wobble. You're getting used to riding the bounce on both cleans and snatches. You can do all this stuff overhead if you want to. You can do it in a back squat position. I did all demos in a front squat position just because it's easy to talk. But you can use all these same techniques for any and all variations of squatting. So I like for advanced people using that 1 1/4 squat. It trains you more in that bottom position, and it lets you learn how to ride that bounce correctly. That way you can pull extra heavy weight, catch it in the clean, ride that bounce and cruise through your sticking point. That way you can have as much energy as possible for when you go into your jerk. So those are 3 easy methods that you can use to kind of mix up your squat routine, where especially with beginners, the tempo squat makes them intentionally go a little bit lighter, and the 1 1/4 squat actually can help advanced athletes actually even go a little bit heavier sometimes, because you're letting them get good at bouncing out of the hole for a 1 rep max front squat or what have you. So go ahead and try out those 3 techniques. If you want more squatting tips, you can always go check out the rest of the squat series. This is video number 7 in that series. So if you want to check out videos 1 through 6, you can go to barbellshrugged.com, click on the episodes tab at the top of the page, and click on Technique Wad. All the videos are in the library. We'll see you another day.
And we're back with Cory Gregory.
You know what you're doing.
Who has gone from being lean, sexy beast to big, fat powerlifter to lean, sexy beast plus powerlifter. How did you do it?
Yeah, man. It's you know what's kind of funny is kind of when I got ripped back down, I started doing this kind of run of different magazines and stuff. I'm at 9 covers right now, which is pretty cool. My goal was 10. It's on my list.
You got me beat. I've only got 3.
Oh man. Was it Power Magazine?
No, Muscle and Fitness. Men's Health. I was in a tattoo magazine once. That happened.
That's pretty cool.
So, I'm on 0.
So I basically got like pretty shredded up, and I was like, man, I got to find a way to get both of these going. And I think the CrossFit community's figured that out a lot, too. I mean, a lot of them dudes are strong as shit. Louis told me all the time there's a lot of 200-pound benchers, but a shitload of 600-pound deadlifters.
Yes.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah,
so,
you probably aren't going to the CrossFit Games unless you deadlift over 500.
Yeah, agreed.
Probably close to 6.
Yeah, I agree, 100%. All the guys I've ever messed with, they're that strong. And so my thing
They've
was...
also spent a period of time getting big and strong.
Yeah.
That's where people miss. They just want to do the workouts they see them doing now.
It doesn't work like that. And so my thing was, you know what? I need to find something in the middle somewhere. And so I just bombed out of a powerlifting meet. I tried to make 81. I like cut 15 pounds. Me and Tony Ramos from Westside went down to a big meet. I've never bombed out of a meet. That's like one of the most humbling.
It sucks, man.
Dude, it's awful.
I think it's good to bomb out one time.
Yeah. No, it was good for well,
like,
I drove
so you
6
never
hours.
want to do it ever again?
Drove 6 hours and bombed out. And so I was pissed, right? So I get home and I'm online. I'm like, man, I got to figure this shit out. 1, I want to get stronger because I obviously I'm weak. I just bombed out. 2, I want to be leaner because I got all these opportunities with my brand now to be on covers and do all this stuff. And so I was like, start searching online, and I found this guy named John Bros. I started reading. Yeah. So now
John's
I'm getting
the man.
it. Yeah. Oh, that's my dude now. So just like any of these other guys, I read his article and I just reached out to him. Said, "Hey man, I'm gonna be in Vegas. I'd love to learn from you." And but
we'll link to that article too. It's really good.
Yeah, the T Nation article is the one that says, and this was my favorite thing. He goes, if somebody captured your family and said they were gonna kill them unless you squatted 500 pounds, would you squat once a week or would you squat every day?
Yeah, it's a good way of putting it.
And I was like, this is my kind of guy. I'm in. So
well, it's true. I mean,
I'd be like, I'm not squatting at all.
People look people look at the program, right? And that's really important, but they're missing all the mental factors that if your mind controls your body and your mind is underdeveloped, undertrained, and you're sitting in your fucking cushy gym, you're not at a Westside place, you're not at a place where somebody like John is showing you what's possible, you cannot get that level of performance. I don't give a shit what kind of magical program you got. It's not the program. You got to have this part too.
I hope no one's hearing this thinking like, I'm going to do 5x5 every day. Heavy. 7 days a week.
We're going to give you some more. We're going to give you a little bit more detail right now, probably.
Yeah,
before you get too froggy.
So, I just started looking at that. And one thing I don't really like traditional cardio either. It drives me crazy. So I was like, my real cardio is when I'm done training, I go to the track and I lunge 400 meters. And so it helps with 400 to 800 meters. I've done up to a mile I did a mile with
You've lunged for a mile?
With a 40-pound vest.
That is legit. I'll tell you what, one of my first CrossFit workouts, like back in 07, I was like, I'm just going to log on to the website, do a workout, was like 400 meters lunges. And I was like, oh, that's so easy. 100 meters in.
Yeah, they smell.
Like, the legs
I don't think it's
shaking.
easy because to run around 400 meters for me is like, fuck, I don't want to run around the track one time. Jesus. Is there anything else I can do?
So, but I think that's all. 400 to 800 meters lunges, sometimes weighted. I mean,
I went to 3/4 of a mile with 80-pound vests, a mile.
That'll build your legs.
A mile with a 40-pound vest, almost 5 days a week, 400 meters, and I do like 11, 12 minutes and knee to the ground, and I'm moving right. So I was really dedicated for about a year of that, and so it made my connective tissue really strong.
I was gonna say it's a lot high rep thing. Your hips feel
awesome.
Great.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Wasn't Ronnie Coleman that's famous for doing parking lot lunges? He would always do like 135 or 185
but not a mile.
for like 100 meters or something like that.
He would do I see him do 185, 225 for distances. So we, so I got into that, and plus
I'm gonna start doing it.
I call it lunge
Monday.
Again, I'm gonna call it right now. I'm gonna text you Tuesday. This son of a bitch is gonna pull something off a bone.
Yeah,
he's gonna be hurt. As sure as the sun's gonna goddamn rise tomorrow, this guy's gonna be hurt tomorrow.
Yeah, so it's
that's true.
I basically I hashtag it Lunge University, and the reason why I call it that because I'm either listening to guys like you, I'm listening to Robert Kiyosaki, Donald Trump, so I'm listening to my headphones while I'm lunging, so I'm getting 2 birds with 1 stone. Because I do a podcast too called 13 in the Prez, and I do it with Maurice Claret. And so we talk about all kinds of stuff. He's a really unique guy.
The Maurice Claret?
The Maurice
From fucking
Claret.
Ohio State?
Yes, sir. That's one of my training partners.
Man, that guy's got.
He's awesome.
Mike's like, who's this athlete you speak of? Because I never watched American sports with the football.
Oh, he's a stud.
This guy's an incredible athlete, and his story is so. Just Wikipedia that bitch.
You guys should have him on. He's awesome.
Give me his phone number.
That's a done deal.
Yeah.
He'll be here today signing autographs, actually.
Oh, sweet.
So he's infamous and famous all at the same regards. You know,
I love him.
So anyway, so I said, you know what? We've been having these amazing conversations, and I'm not taping any of it. So we started it just a couple weeks ago, and we got great feedback. And basically, I'm giving people information to use while they're doing their lunges. So anyway, so I'm on this lunge kick. People think I'm nuts, which most of the shit I do, and it's going really well. And my metabolism is through the roof because of it. And so then when I come on to John's thing, I'm like, well, shit, if I start squatting every day, that should help raise my test levels. And then I lunge for conditioning. I'm like, I might just be on to something. So here my ass is every morning. I get the old school, and I'm taking a squat. And I go triples up to a single. It takes about 20 minutes, and I do front squat 5 times a week and back squat twice a week. And I never had a pair of ollies before. AJ Pappas from Reebok sent me a pair of ollies, a friend of mine, and I was like, shit, let's roll. So I started.
It's a different world. If you've been like just in regular training shoes and you've been squatting, and then you throw on weightlifting shoes for the first time, it's like. People go, should I do it? I'm like, huh?
So to Doug's point earlier, to be clear, you're building a high level of squatting skill with this. You're not just crushing yourself with sets of 5, 5, 5.
You can't do it.
You get the volume from the lighter things that are still hard as shit but not beating you down.
Yep.
And then a lot of front squats, which are also a little bit easier to recover from than the back squat.
Because you're not loading up as heavy because you're not that strong.
But relatively speaking, it's hard as fuck, right? It feels maximal.
Yeah,
that's what matters.
John says you go for what they say, a comfortable max, whichever that means, but you're going for a daily max of some type of weight. And what I like about him is he's like, your body lies to you. And I'm like,
it does.
Well, tell me, it does. He says, you know what, get to 225 and tell me how you feel. Like every day I walk in, I'm like, okay, day 195. And I'm like getting under the bar, and I'm like, I'm warming up, and then boom, PR, 350 on front squat. You're like,
it
happens all the time to me.
I actually like calling it the technical rep max.
Yeah, there you go. That makes sense.
Because I think people will recognize when their form is breaking down before.
Absolutely.
People force through some pretty bad shit.
It's not the one I'm going to hang my spine on the platform every day.
Right.
But, I have minimum weights I try to at least hit. So if I'm front squatting without a belt, I want to try to hit at least, and I do a lot of pauses I stole from Klokov. Basically, I'm like
pauses are the shit, dude.
I'm a mix of everybody, dude. I pull conjugate with Louis style twice a week. I'm doing John's everyday squat thing, but I do mostly pause work until the meet day, and then I go back to chucks and go wide. That's kind of been my science. Yeah, it works amazing. So whatever I can back squat in ollies, I can do 100 pounds more wrapped up in chucks in a meet.
Really?
So I can back squat 455 in ollies right now.
But you can use because
I'm about the same.
But you use
it doesn't matter what shoe.
People need to understand
20 pounds.
People understand how important it is to make things harder. If you can squat more like that, you don't necessarily do it. You do the thing that's harder in the gym because it's going to make the other thing grow more. I was going to say the great thing about this kind of training, you're not beating yourself up with volume. No. The biggest thing people don't understand is you talk about your body will lie to you.
Yeah.
Fucking really amazing book, man. I'm really impressed with The Rise of Superman.
Okay.
That book is so awesome because it talks about how much extreme sports athletes have pushed the limits because to do a massive jump, you have to align so closely with a state of flow, and you have to master that and get to that every fucking time you jump. And the magic happens right on the edge. The problem with a lot of people in the gym is that they don't know how strong they could be. Yeah. And there are tiers of lying, actually, too. Like, I'm 300-pound squatter. I can never get to 400. You go to West Side and I do 500. Or somebody else, maybe you do 6, 7. There's all these tiers. We got to keep looking for ways to break through.
Absolutely.
So this John's program is a great way to break the fear that show you can be strong. That big front squat loses its ability to scare you after a while.
Oh, right? Dude, I mean, I'm not scared to, I'm going to front squat 405. I know it.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of when, 100%. And then my goal was to be 198 in pool conventional and raw squat 600, drug-free, lifetime drug-free. And I think that would be a cool thing to do, and have some upper abs. So I think
not lower abs.
No,
upper
but
abs.
at least upper abs. But I think that those things in the volume, I don't do a regular leg day anymore. The volume's in the lunging. So, I mean, and I'm get to the point, I tell my athletes, I train some NFL guys, they're friends of mine. I'm like, look, if you can go 400, 800 meters and you're not even tired, you're going to be breaking arm tackles like crazy.
If you do that, you probably have your legs are probably muscular and fit as they need to be.
Oh, dude, and they just put so much blood in your legs.
That's actually a really common thing with, especially with people in the CrossFit and weightlifting both, is there's so much just squatting, not enough lunging, period.
I agree.
And then you may not want to lunge with a lot of weight. And like what you're saying is
you don't need to. You
use
need
it
reps.
for your conditioning, get that blood flowing through there.
That's what it is. Activate your glutes, activate your lower back. I mean, every time I've had lower back problems, my glutes were weak. I mean, 100%.
It's another thing Louis does a lot of is like most of the stuff he's doing is easy, light, high rep stuff.
People don't realize that. Yeah.
Yeah, you lift heavy for maybe 20%, and the other 80%, it's
all blood work.
It's like 8 to 15 reps at a time.
And the volume is carefully regulated. Like Louis is not gonna let you do dumb shit in there. Everything's mathematically set. So he pushes the intensity as hard as possible, knowing that you're not going to do this endless sets because you think it's going to make you better. To control the sets, and then go out and push that prowler, do wheelbarrow, the walking, the best thing is the hip squats where you just sit there and walk back and forth.
Yeah, he's
we had a couple of our guys start cracking
I did
pretty
that
quick.
yesterday.
It burns like a mother.
Yeah, I loved it.
No, it's cool. So I think that kind of set the stage for me then to say, okay, now that I've got this kind of figured out, and then I'm doing my upper body splits, usually in the afternoon or I'll fit them in the morning, wherever, which is mostly golden era type stuff. You know, I still need to look aesthetic for whatever I'm doing. And then I was like, now I got to figure out my nutrition. Now, kind of from CrossFit, I really just dropped my grains out. But I didn't limit my calories, and I've always ate kind of high fat like Mario Di Pasquale, but I just didn't do the loads like they kind of teach in the anabolic diet. So I really just said, you know what, I'm going to eat fruits, veggies, meat, eggs, all the basic stuff, and then when I feel like shit, I'll just have a cheat meal. But that could be a month. Yeah. It just depends. You know, I mean, when I'm at events like this and stuff, I'm not as careful, but, you know, so I just basically had set myself some guidelines, and as I squatted and lunged and didn't cheat as often, my weight started coming from like 95, and I'm like, I'm getting ready for this Fitness RX photo shoot that just came out as my 100. It documented my first 100 days of squats, and I usually shoot at like 170, 175. Well, I'm like 187, and I'm looking like way different. And I'm like,
damn,
oh, shit.
got something going.
Yeah.
Here.
So I shoot at 184. Not only do I shoot at 184, I squat 405 and ollies in the shoot, which I was barely if I could walk into a shoot in the old days. I mean, I'd be peeled, but I was a mess.
Wow.
So here I am. My performance is good. I'm looking good enough to still be on the cover, and I'm 14 pounds heavier than my last shoot, which is a shitload
So
for a
just
drug-free guy.
From a lower body perspective,
it's too good to be true. Like you'd pay a lot of money to get that from a bottle,
dude. Of course, right?
You're front squatting 5 days a week, back squatting twice a week.
Yep.
Pretty heavy.
Yeah.
Low reps.
Yeah, low reps, triples up to a single, then I go on.
So you just work up to a triple or to a single, and then you don't do drops or sets after that.
Now, like John talks about doing back off sets. I don't really do those. That's kind of where my change is because then I'm going to something else. So like this morning,
so
for instance,
he wouldn't say go do 400 meters of lunges. That's like you replace that volume, the drop sets with
that
the
he's not adding
lunges.
that part to the lunges. A lot of CrossFitters make the mistake of adding things to more things. Some got to be taken out.
You got to
something
remove
else.
sometimes.
Yeah, that's like my version of it, basically.
So if someone wanted to like, hey, I'm going to try this out.
Yeah.
You just work up to a heavy single, to heavy triple.
Really quickly too. And then 20 minutes.
20 minutes, you're moving.
And then you go do your lunges.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not that bad.
And then you got upper body day.
So like a lot of people, if they don't have to, like I have a gym everywhere I look. So my story's a little bit easier when that. But most of the people will do lunges in the gym maybe 10 minutes. And then go to their split. So if they're at 30 minutes and then they go 30 minutes on chest or back or whatever they're training that day. So the way I set it up is I go, if we pull, I'll usually stay and pull at the gym. And I'll usually, like I had a bunch of PRs lately. I mean, I just pulled 495 standing on 3 mats conventional, which was a good pull for me.
Damn.
And then front squat at 375 this morning, which is a PR for me. So, I mean, I'm just, as John likes to say, I mean, I'm really crushing PRs, dude, all over the place. And it's been consistent. So.
How many hours a day are you training?
I would say total maybe an hour and 45 minutes.
So you don't have to. I mean, you're not going to the CrossFit Games. Like those guys are having to train like 6 hours a day to stay competitive. But that's amazing.
I think you can fit it in shorter
have what most
though.
people want.
Yeah,
strong and look good at the same time.
I think you can fit it in shorter period of time. But because I have a lunch break that the whole crew's training, I take longer, but really I think I could fit it in an hour and a half if I really had to. It's that I'm doing accessory work, extra GHD work, extra sled work just because I can.
You do that before or after your lunges?
After. So everything, so I try to do, and I don't eat breakfast before I train either. I don't do it just because of some science thing. I just feel better when I don't eat and train.
Yeah.
So literally I like to go in I take my salt, which is our product, I drink some water, boom, I'm right in the gym, right to the squat rack. That's why one of the things I'm kind of popular for right now is my Snapchat, which I don't know if you guys are on that or not, but I get up every day.
I'm terrible at using it.
Yeah,
that's my hardest social media to use.
Yeah, so I get up and I usually try to say something motivational, and then I say, now wake your ass up and get to the gym. And then I get to the gym and like I got these kids hitting me up, all this stuff, and it's like I'm kind of like their alarm clock. Yeah. Because I'm up at 4 a.m. every day. So by whoever they get up, and they and I had so many kids come to the booth and say, dude, it's so motivational. I'm laying, feeling like a mess in my bed, and most of them are college kids too, so who knows what they're getting into. And then I look at yours, and it's 2 hours later, you're already squatting, you're yelling at me to get the hell up, and it's just one of those things like I've kind of got into, but it's a mentality of no matter how I feel, like John says your body lies to you, man, I'm right to the rack, bro, and I'm ready to get it.
Nice.
I love it.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Fantastic, dude. Shit.
Yeah. See, when you guys first talked to me, he's like, "Hey, we can talk about muscle farming a little bit." I was like, "Well, we'll talk about it, but I want to talk about training."
Talk training.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm passionate about.
You got also thinking like, what can we incorporate into our experiments on ourselves?
No, it's. I'll tell you what.
I got a feeling you and I are going to be talking about training.
It's
for a while,
dude. It's unbelievable. I tell you what, my lower back has never physically felt this strong before. I mean, I was like a 425 conventional puller. It was awful. I pulled in chucks because that's what Louis told me to do. I was a much better sumo guy, but I put ollies on. I saw Dimitri.
Do you pull in ollies too? Oh wow.
Okay, it makes it harder.
Well, but it doesn't for me though. I feel so much faster out of the bottom like crazy. Like it jumps off the floor for me, and it not 500-pound to jump off the floor, but like I did 405 for 10 reps, and it just seems like it just boom, boom. I have a smoothness to it, and my stance is this close.
Frog stance.
Oh, okay.
I pull with my heels almost touching.
Wow.
It's unbelievable.
With the Olympic shoes.
With the Olympic shoes.
A 3/4 heel or a 1/2-inch heel?
The full lifters. So,
full lifters.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's probably the most unique thing you've said out of all of your training.
Dude, I feel
your training
like,
secrets.
So my quad, I don't know if it's because of
that's what I'm thinking. This guy's got.
So basically, it's like when I line up and I go to pull in them ollies, it's like I'm working right off my VMO and just boom, and it just feels like it jumps off the ground.
Like a coiled spring down
that's really, when I would get in chucks, it just felt like shit. I mean, I could never get comfortable. And so literally, I mean, I'll probably pull 550 at my next meet in ollies, close stance. And I mean, it's 100 and some pound difference in my old conventional.
I feel like
I want to watch him snatch now.
Yeah. Do you do any ollie lifting?
I just started, so I just cleaned 275 the other day with John. I never even know how to do a hook grip. I mean, I'm really like novice
at that. Yeah.
So John comes in and I'm like, dude, I tried to pull off, or I tried to do cleans off blocks.
Is John here?
Yeah, he is.
Oh, I haven't seen him at all.
Yeah, he came by the booth yesterday, so he came in early and came.
Talk to him.
Yeah, no, absolutely, I'd probably love it. He came in and he came to the Muscle Pharm gym, and then he just got off the plane. I was like, dude. I was like, man, I tried to like clean 225 the other day, and I was trying to use a hook grip, and it just fell out of my hand. I'm like, I know I'm doing it wrong.
Oh, yeah.
So he comes over, and a lot of people, because I'm pretty vast in my training, they just expect me to know, but I never really mess with that world at all. So
it's a different world, man.
He's like, teaching me, grinding it in, and mostly this hand, and then so I take 245, and I clip it, and I'm like, pow, pop it over my head, and he's like, well, shit, dude, what's your clean max? I'm like, it's like 265. I fucking missed 275 15 times probably. He's like, you're gonna, dude, I fucking smoked it. I caught it high. And I was like, oh, shit.
I mean, if you're deadlifting that amount, 275 clean should be easy.
So then I was like, fuck it, put 300 on. Yeah. And I caught it in the bottom, but I didn't have a belt on. I don't know if I should or shouldn't, but I only have a power belt. I'd probably get in the way more than anything. But I caught it.
It's probably, maybe this fucking guy probably cleans 400 if you just get right.
It got caught I caught it kind of forward. I was trying to rock it back into a pause squat because I knew I could get up because I do it all the time. But I couldn't get it. So I was like, I'm not going to let this motherfucker go back down. But I couldn't get it through. I just missed it. But I almost did 300, the other day, which was cool.
Awesome.
It's got to be like perfect lifter's mentality. Like, no, fuck this, I'm going to do it. No.
Yeah, John smoked 315. I mean, like, it was like, boom. He talks in kilos. I'm not there yet, so I'm like, he's like trying to add it up.
Probably like 140 kilos.
Yeah, it just smoked it, just boom, boom, fast as hell.
It's another level of discovery for you, man. Like, this is the next thing.
I bought some jerk blocks, dude. It's a wrap.
Oh, dude, we have mostly weightlifting instruction.
Yeah,
like,
that's what I heard.
I'm sending you that.
No,
like,
dude, I love it.
I think you're gonna love it.
Dude, I love it, and I just want to be powerful. I mean, because there's the other thing is every year about this time around, it starts to get warm out. I want to dunk a basketball again. That was like one of the most athletic things I feel like you can do. And so every time I start wanting to work on plyos and box jumps, and so I can't palm a basketball, so I'll have the guys throw me an alley oop or whatever. But every time around this year, my kid's 9 years old. He thinks it's cool that his dad can still dunk a basketball. He don't care about the magazines anymore. He's used to that.
Yeah. You got this good total, and you're running the business. You're former corpsman. You can dunk a fucking alley-oop pass?
Yeah.
Fucking shit, dude.
But what's so funny is, but check this out, though.
Chris is like, what am I doing with my life?
Let me say
you know what? Can you tell dick jokes?
No.
Fuck you, yeah, I got that.
But let me set it up, though. The reason why I think I'm like this is I was a sixth man on my basketball team. I didn't play college sports. Like I'm athletically, I'm okay at a lot of stuff, but I'm not necessarily great at anything. Yeah. So that's why I've kind of like, I'm good at this stuff, you know what I mean? But I'm not. I just almost went elite. I was like, I got 4 covers shot before they came out. I was always the guy like on the outside, you know? So it's like one of those things where I just kind of like to do a little bit of everything.
I'm almost awesome at everything.
Yeah, that is the goal, Chris. That's the goal, baby. No, but you know what? I enjoy it, and I look at it as a goal. You know, it gets me off the couch, man, because I need to be like focused on something. And if I don't, here's where I struggle, and I think a lot of people struggle maybe this. If I don't have something set, I'm wandering, man. I don't do very good. 1, I get upset with myself. 2, I'm not very productive. I mean, my low-end production is still pretty high, but I mean, I'm just not focused, and I can't stand it. So
if you don't pick the challenge or pick the event or pick the personal, like,
I have to.
I got to do this. Yes, you plan everything off that. That's the pump.
Everything.
That drives your progress.
And it all starts in the gym first, and then the rest of it falls. So if I come in the gym, and I don't have to have a PR every day, but if I have my goals set up like I want to front squat, back squat this, I want to dunk, I want to do this, and I'm working towards that, it seems like the rest of my business just flows, man, because I'm just tuned in. And then I feel like I'm doing it at 5 in the morning. If you want to compete, not compete against me in weightlifting, but in my business, you got to get a jump. You better get the hell out of bed, or you're not going to catch us. I mean, we feel strong about what we're doing. Muscle Pharm doesn't sleep.
And
I mean,
you
I'm
guys
telling
partnered
you.
with I mean, it was cool. I mean, early in this interview, you mentioned something about like Arnold being inspiration, like when you were younger, and that was one of the reasons we're all here.
Yeah, of course.
Is because we've been coming here since 2007. It's like we were all kids.
2002 or whatever. I came out first.
Arnold was like a big piece of inspiration for all of us,
for everybody.
Like,
first thing I ever did. First thing I ever did. Concrete weights, my fingers through in my buddy's backyard. Arnold presses. The first fucking exercise. The first exercise I ever did. I'm like, what do I need? Giant shoulders. Well, do that. Do that. That's how you get them.
Absolutely.
It was so simple.
So it's like, it's funny. I mean, this guy like inspires all of us when we were younger, and then we all come here. And we're all doing something in fitness, and I think he's like the guy that made it real.
Oh,
like
he's such an OG.
If that guy can make a successful career out of being a fitness dude, it's like. Then it was like I may not do exactly what he's doing, but he kind of paved the way.
I only
cool
now
fully
fully appreciate it.
Dude.
We all grew up watching fucking Predator, going, "Please, Lord, one day, let me fight the Predator." We all had that.
I want to be jacked in the jungle.
But I only now appreciate that this is a guy born as a Austrian farm boy,
dude.
In a very real way,
unreal.
I won't say nobody, but just a small farm boy.
Yeah.
And that vision to see, kind of like what you're saying, you got to see what direction you could go. And every day remind yourself that you can do it. If you're not doing the everyday reminding, strengthen your mind thing.
Out of sight, out of mind, dude.
Probably the most important reps you're going to do.
Yeah, I'll tell you what about Arnold is, what's so cool is obviously we signed a deal with Arnold, which no one thought they could ever do. And so I'll tell you the story about it. It's pretty phenomenal. So I'm literally on the golf course, which I love golf. I'm not that good at that. I'm trying to get better at it. So
but now I'm thinking, like, I know you're fucking full of shit. Your definition of not quite good is probably.
I'm not a scratch. That's what I want to be. So let's put it that way. So anyway, I'm on a golf course, and we're in Phoenix, and it's snowing. First of all, I'm pissed because it's like this time of the year, and I'm going to Phoenix to be warm, and it's snowing. So we're sitting around, and one of our investors goes, "Hey, you think you'd want to work with Arnold?" We're all looking at each other like, the fuck are you talking about, dude?
No.
Yeah. I'm like, so how, tell me the deal. He's like, well, my sister's married to Tom Arnold, the actor. Like, how random is that? He's like, he'll call him
so
for
his
us.
last name's Arnold, and Arnold's first name is Arnold. So I think
it's a wrap, dude. It's a wrap. We're in. So he says, you know, we're doing like 70 million in sales at the time. We got a lot of momentum. He's like, I'll call, Tom. He puts him on the phone right there. Tom says, I'll call Arnold, see if he'll meet with you guys. So I'm thinking, oh shit, it's snowing in Phoenix, which is random as hell, and we're maybe have a connection with Arnold. So they set up the meeting, and we basically put the Arnold series together before we even met with them. I had the bottles. They look like, to us, we feel like we're Nike, and we feel like that's the Jordan brand. If you look at it like that, and if you look at the way the logo is done, that's the Jumpman is Arnold's iconic pose, and so the branding, as you can see, we set it up like that. So I knew he would be impressed with that part because it looks gangster as hell. But the key was Arnold comes in the room, and we're in his office in Santa Monica, and it's like movie posters and a life-size Terminator, and dude, total like shell shock. Like I'm in Arnold's office, and he's about to roll. Yeah, it's unbelievable, right? So I'm sitting in there, and you're just waiting on him, and I wasn't really that nervous though, and I'll tell you why, because I feel like I've been working my whole life for an opportunity like this. I'm not coming out of this room without being fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger's business partner, because I'm not going to get this shot again. You got one chance to not, drop the fucking ball, basically.
Yeah.
So Arnold rolls in, and he says, hello, whatever, and he goes, so why am I doing this? And he just shuts up. You're thinking, oh, fuck. The OG of all OGs just said, it's time for you to. And I said, and I led with this because I've always lead with training. I said, man, I'm tired of watching kids text in the gym. They don't superset. They don't know shit about the golden era. And I said, I believe that if you trust us with me, especially us with your fitness likeness, I'm gonna rejuvenate it all. I'm gonna bring back the hard training. I'm gonna teach people how to eat. We're gonna go get the files from Pumping Iron. We're gonna put them back out there. I said, I think we can make some real dynamic stuff happen. And he kind of just started. I could tell I got his attention, right? And so I was doing something with bodybuilding.com at the time, and I had a trailer for this Get Swole plan that got kind of popular on bodybuilding.com. And so I was like, hey, here's kind of like some of the stuff we do. So he takes my laptop, and he's looking at it, and I
see you have some porn here.
Yeah, I know, right? He gets, so I go to kind of get it, and he kind of like says, sit down. I'm still watching, and I'm like, all right, cool. So he's engaged, and then some of the guys said, look, we're already selling in 100 countries. They start hitting him with the business, which obviously he's a businessman too. Sure. But he's engaged in the fitness big time. I can see it.
He's not posing. He cares a lot.
He cares, and once he's in, he's in. And so he goes, he's talking, he's asking me some more questions, and then I was on the cover of Fitness RX with my kids that month randomly. It was the first time it had ever really been done. I got 3 of my kids hanging off of me. It was a really cool issue. One of the investors had bought it at the airport. I didn't even know. He throws it to Arnold in the middle of the meeting. And so this is what
the alignment of the circumstances is
unbelievable,
nuts.
Right? So Arnold looks at me and he goes, this is really cool. And obviously in his accent I go, well, when you say that, it's even extra freaking cool, right? So and what was really cool is he opened it up, and it was all done at Old School. So it's a retro 1970s gym. So he's getting the feel of
you're talking his language now,
big time. And so you know what? He put his glasses on. He's looking through the magazine, and
Arnold wears glasses.
He did at that time. I've never seen him do it
I thought
again.
He had a red mechanical eye.
Yeah, he does. He was like, so anyway.
Hold on, my eye, this fucking eye. Come on, Cory, I gotta zoom in. I can't see the.
So he, he's looking through it, and I can just tell I got him engaged, and he's definitely, he's feeling what we're talking about, and we start hitting him with more and more business, and I could just see him feeling it, and it was just. The coolest part was he pulls out this poster. So I'm sitting from me to you, Mike, away, and he pulls out a poster, and it's like a pull-out thing of an ab thing for me. And he goes, your abs kind of remind me of Frank Zane's a little bit.
You're like, holy shit, what'd you say?
That's quite the compliment.
What the hell is going on in my life right now?
Man, you really impressed me, and your abs look like Frank Zane's. Yeah. How do you do it?
And I was just like,
fucking sitting there going, my mind is fucking melting and coming out my nose. It was bleeding from the fucking nose.
Unbelievable.
Right
now? And so, once we got off that, and I think he realized like I could talk his language. I do all the interviews with him. Like he knows I know the deal on that stuff, right? And he's been like that ever since that day. The guys in the business guy, my partner Brad's unbelievable business guy. They got all the numbers done. Literally, we walk out of there, and I looked at Brad. I'm like, oh, it's a wrap, dude. I think we got it. 20 minutes later, he called, said he's in. And so that was a really cool. Wow. And he told us before we left, when I open my Rolodex, and it's a big one, it's serious, and I'll be in, and I'll be engaged, and I'm excited. I want to be involved in the process of the flavoring and what we put out and the training, and you can interview me, and you just tell me what you need. And it's really like that,
Holy
dude.
Shit, man.
He came to Old School. And I interviewed him for an hour and a half. I just released it on bodybuilding.com. It's unbelievable.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I'll embed that in the show.
Actually, I was checking that out the other day.
Yeah.
I saw it post up.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Cool. Yeah, so, so Arnold's a G, dude. And here's what I take away from Arnold. Anytime I'm around him, your brain just goes like this. Because if you don't, he's accomplished so much in his life and his vision. He talks about it constantly, creating that vision and seeing it and feeling it and knowing what it is. And I just try to follow
suit. Like you're doing every fucking day of your life,
bro.
You do it.
Every day.
Every moment of it, reminding yourself what really matters to you and how you're going to get it.
Dude, 15 years ago, I was selling programs to get in.
That's not a lot of time.
Arnold.
Yeah.
I mean, I would tell people
you're the guy at the door.
I'm the guy at the door selling programs.
And I'm like,
yeah. No, I don't want to buy a program, Cory.
Ooh, go away.
Yeah. So I'm that kid, and I'm thinking, man, I just can't wait to get in the expo after I get this free expo ticket. I could have paid $10, but I was trying to get the experience.
What year was that?
2000.
2000. Okay, we started coming in 2007. I remember my first exposure to Expo Hall.
Oh, I was like, wild. I was in shock, man.
There are so many hot chicks here.
Oh, yeah, awesome. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, that was like, if you want to increase your testosterone once a year.
A lot of bad protein bars, too.
Yeah. Especially in 202007.
You got really excited and really stopped up.
Yeah.
That's it.
It was unbelievable. So, that experience was cool, man. That's why when I talked to Jim Lormer, he had no clue. When we signed up for the Diamond sponsor and just signed Arnold a couple years ago, and I told him the story, he's like, asked Lucy, who's been with him forever, and she's like, I remember Cory. I remember. He's like, so you got one of your starts here. I'm like, yeah, man, it was a big deal for me.
It's awesome.
It's pretty cool. Being a local guy, I mean, this is just a big deal in general. So
yeah,
so that's. It's been a wild ride, man.
Where do you see the Arnold Classic going in the next 5-10 years? Because the thing that impresses me is that this has been going on a long time.
Yeah.
And this thing just keeps getting bigger.
Yeah.
There's fencing. There's just everything in here.
It's international.
What's the next step for this?
That's where they're growing it. Like, I'm going to Arnold, Australia next week. They got Brazil. They got South Africa. They're going to Malaysia. So Arnold is a good example. Arnold says, I'm going to have the biggest event on the planet, fitness-wise. Now let's do it on every continent.
So he's are they going to have weightlifting and gymnastics at each one of these?
I think that's what they're heading towards.
And you guys may not know this, but the Arnold is actually my favorite weightlifting meet every year.
Oh, that's cool.
It's we've been coming since 2007. Most years almost every year I've competed or coached.
Sweet.
Sometimes both.
I think it's one of the events that gave it a lot of initial more juice in the new pop culture of fitness. Like it's coming back quickly because it got its foot back in the door here, and it was right alongside Strongman and everything else. And it was a really great, well-run event every fucking year.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us.
Oh, dude, come on, man. I couldn't wait.
Love hearing your story.
We got this part too. I'm still going, I could ask all this, but no.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think we're going to be talking training for...
Yeah, dude. I'll come on whenever you guys want. I
years from now,
it.
baby. Yeah, this is great, yeah.
I really, at the end of the day, like, I want people to know, like, I live and breathe the gym. I love it. It's my passion. I can't get enough of it, and I'm passionate about helping people. Yeah. So, like we talk about, if you follow me on social media, at Muscle Pharm Prez on Instagram or Twitter, I'm leading with training. I want you to get better, and that's when I see these kids come up to me and tell me their squat went up or this, man, I love it.
Yeah, what's your Instagram? Because people need to follow your
Muscle
stuff.
Pharm Prez, P-R-E-S. Both of them are. Instagram and Twitter, both.
I'll have one more. What do you tell the kid right now who's thinking, I want to so desperately be a coach? People are telling me, just get a fucking job and go to school, do whatever. But I believe in this, but they don't feel like anybody's on their corner to back them up. What's like the quickest punchy thing you could say to them that they need to take away from this?
You got to find out. I really went towards my passion. I mean, 100%. But it didn't just jump right to. I think there's so much instant gratification. Like, they see rap videos, and I watch all those too. But you can't have the Bentley overnight. People don't realize it took me 15 years to get here. I mean, it is a long time, but it isn't, right?
Started with $20 an hour.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's a lot longer than people want it to be.
They don't want to put the time in.
After you've done the 15 years, you go, wow, there a lot happened in that time. There's no way it could have happened faster, really. Yeah. You see that after the fact.
I wanted it to happen faster.
But when you're the kid and you see the guy that's doing it, you go, I want that tomorrow.
Doesn't happen.
Like, you got to put in years and years and years. And lots of mistakes.
I didn't even get the Muscle Pharm opportunity until I was in business for 10 years.
There you go.
That's it. Yeah. Plain and simple. And then
keep pushing, baby.
Here's the deal. You might not even be ready for the opportunity. It comes when you're ready. And then you got to be able to recognize the situational awareness. Yeah. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
A big deal.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes people, I've gotten in situations where it's like, man, I'm glad this didn't happen a year ago.
Yeah, agreed.
Because it's like, there's no way I would have been, after the situation happens, I'm like, I would not have been ready back then.
It's hard. But you got to keep that in mind, too, when you feel the acute heartbreak of the thing not working out now. That's a lesson it's gonna fuel the next thing that needs to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I appreciate the time, guys. I started listening to you guys lately, and I was really hyped to be on here today.
Dude, we loved having you on. It was great. We're going to have to do a part 2. There's going to be a lot of people going, no, hold on, man. Tell me more about exactly what you're doing. There's going to be some more questions.
Well, and also just give people a little bit more insight to what Muscle Pharm is, that it is a griminess to it, and some people might just not know that.
Yeah. Sweet, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks,
Make
guys.
sure to go to barbellshrugged.com, sign up for the newsletter, head over to iTunes, give us 5 stars and a positive comment.
Don't get too close to that beard. You're going to scratch your limbs. Join the conversation every week after the episode over at barbellshrugged.com. This is also where you'll find new episodes of Barbell Shrugged, Technique Wad, Nuggets and Pearls, Barbell Business, Get Change, plus new articles every day on our daily blog, written by us, guests of the show, and some of the biggest names in strength and conditioning. So, go there and leave a comment now. Oh my gosh, wow, that's so cool. Yay, that's so awesome.
Did you like this video? If so, subscribe to our channel and share this with your friends.
And if you want even more free, awesome resources to help you reach your fitness goals, plus some updates that we only share over email, head over to barbellshrugged.com and sign up for the newsletter.